Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Doug Barrick, Town Manager, coming to you live on our new platform here on Facebook. We traditionally, here on this Friday, we are traditionally over at Kiwanis Park for our meetings in the park. And now that we've kind of working with the town council to close down parks and larger gatherings, we felt like it was appropriate to meet via Facebook. And we're using our new platform called StreamYard. So it gives an opportunity for you to put messages down in the chat. When you put the messages in the chat, we'll actually see those in real time on the screen and have a better opportunity to engage with you. So for those that are unfamiliar with our meetings in the park format, myself as the town manager, traditionally Mayor Dancy, and he is tied up on some other Zooms today and could not join us, but traditionally myself and the mayor are joined by town department heads down in Kiwanis Park, and it's just an opportunity for you to meet with us outside of the walls of town council or outside of town hall or a traditional town council meeting to talk about any questions you may have, or maybe get a better understanding, bring forth ideas, concerns, and just really have an open dialogue down at the park. We really want that to be what today's feature is about, and that was another way for us to kind of augment what we typically do on our Brutiful mornings. So we hope that you find this kind of engaging, and we're really relying on you guys today that are watching live to throw your comments in, and your comments are going to be questions that'll be more interactive. So hopefully we can engage in a dialogue with you through the comments. I know we can't bring you on live for the Facebook live portion of it, but we can definitely work through your questions, concerns, ideas in real time with your comments. So be sure to be dropping comments in the chat box. Magnolia, our wonderful producer, is going to be making sure that those come up live. So Magnolia, anything you want to kind of just say real quick about the StreamYard platform? I know you guys used this for the redevelopment commission meeting earlier this week. How did that work out for you guys from the comment section, or maybe just even feedback from the board to do something a little different than a traditional Zoom?
I think it's really nice because not only is it not Zoom, because good Lord, we've used that too much, but it allows us to broadcast it to both YouTube and Facebook Live. And then it just allows us to highlight users' comments and actually kind of engage with like the public during these meetings. So I think it's just taking our like transparency and communication to a whole new level.
So since we do have a YouTube channel, and the YouTube comments, are we seeing those in real time too? So if somebody's on YouTube watching us, if they're going to drop some comments in, we can engage with them.
Yep.
So both Facebook and YouTube. Well, good. Well, maybe we're reaching an audience that we haven't reached before, and that's exciting for the town of Rutherfordton. So why don't we just kind of go around and introduce who you are, what department you represent, maybe how long you've been with the town, and tell us something that your department is working on right now. So Magnolia, you want to start?
Oh, good. Sure. So I'm Magnolia. I'm the Community Development Director. I've been with the town for a year now, I guess. Time flies when you're having fun. But right now I'm working on like the Refton Roots Community Garden. We've gotten a lot of work going with our redevelopment commission. So looking at how we can kind of invest in communities. There's some feedback there. Invest in communities across the town. Yeah.
Awesome. Chief Harold, fire comes before police in the alphabet, so we'll go with you first.
That's exactly right, Clint. So my name is Brandon Harold, Fire Chief at Rutherfordton, and I have been here 15 years in January, so I'm working on getting close to 16 now. And currently, one of the biggest projects we're working on is preparing for an ISO inspection November 8th. So we've been getting together a good bit of paperwork and making sure we're squared away for that, and working on some training to prepare for that, to hopefully better that rating for our whole district.
Good deal. And finance comes before police, so we'll go to Sonia next.
I think finance, doesn't that come before fire too? But okay. My name is Sonia Outling. I have been with the town for almost 3 years, and I'm the finance director. A big thing we're working on right now is our annual audit. We are wrapping up this past fiscal year that ended on June 30th, and we will have our auditors doing a virtual audit in a couple of weeks. So that's kind of the big project that we are working on right now in this department.
All right. And last but absolutely never least, Chief Engel.
Well, they always save the best for last, don't they?
That's right. That's exactly right.
Well, I'm Chief Engel. I've been with the Ruffin Police Department for a little over 16 years. And currently, one thing that we're really excited about is our Shop with a Cop, which we are every year. We currently are doing a raffle for a Kimber Micro 9. They're $20 a piece for a ticket. You can come by Town Hall, and we will be sure to get you one of those. One thing that I'm happy to be able to say is that even with the COVID restrictions and everything else that's going on, we have raised more money this year than we have any of the past years. Last year, we were able to help 32 children. So we're hoping to be able to help 50 this year.
That's awesome. So kind of circling back around, we do have a couple things that we'd like to take the advantage of the time live to talk about. But Chief Harrell, you were talking about the ISO inspection that's coming up. Some people may not know, what that means or why that's important for our community. Can you kind of talk just briefly about what ISO inspection means? If that was to go well, and what a rating score means, and just kind of talk through a summation of that so people have a better understanding of exactly what the state's going to be looking for, and then what they're also going to, what that rating means for a homeowner, a business owner in our community.
All right. So ISO is an insurance rating, and that affects your fire insurance for your property. So it's a rating scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the best, 10 being the worst. So, and the way they grade you is how well you are equipped to handle fighting fire. That's what it all boils down to. So, of course, the better the rating, the better equipped you are. So currently we are a class 4/9, and we're a class 4 where we have hydrants, and then where we do not have hydrants, that falls into a 9. That has to do with water supply. So they look at the fire department as a portion of it. They look at the water supply and the water system as a portion of it, and communications center as a portion of that. So all three of those go into that classification. The North Carolina Office of State Fire Marshal has inspectors that do that for the state of North Carolina. But every state across the country has a public protection class is what they're looking for to give you that score. So we're hoping this year we're going to do a fire scene setup for our rural district where we do not have hydrants within 1,000 feet of many residences, and we're hoping that will bring that nine down to a better score. So we'll see how that goes when the time comes.
Yeah, and one of the things we've talked about on these lives, or people may have seen during some of our town council meetings, is we're working on a fire station number 2, and that station would be kind of a substation out in our rural district. We've purchased some land for that and moving that forward. And, once that station is built, the idea is that there will be additional points. There could be another inspection done. And, with the distribution of multiple apparatus, multiple firefighters throughout our entire region, that it can, again, improve that rating, right?
Yes, that's correct. Currently, we have 34 square miles. And what they're looking at, we have a 5-mile district, a 6-mile district, and we actually have some outside response area that's actually considered a class 10 because we are so far away from that area. So that second station will cut that way down and put resources where they need to be.
Awesome. Sonia, you mentioned a little bit about you're working on the audit information, and that's going to be a virtual audit this year. I mean, that doesn't mean that the auditors don't get a chance to pull everything that they ask for, but a lot of people don't maybe understand that the town every year has to go through an audit process. And can you kind of just talk a little bit about, how that works and kind of some of the things that they're asking you to provide, to ensure that we are meeting all the guidelines, both state and federally, and have a clean audit?
Sure. So Every year, our auditors meet with us at an interim audit, and the interim audit's normally in March or April. And at that time, they go through a lot of our files. They pull records to make sure that things match. So they'll pull, documents out of our payroll system, and then pull the timesheets that have been signed off on by the employees and the department heads to make sure that what we paid them out of the system matched their timesheets. So there's a lot of things like that with accounts payable, accounts receivable, and payroll, and they call that testing. So that's a lot of that is done during the interim. There will be some of that done at final audit, but at final audit, the focus is more preparing our financial statements that in the audit that's actually published to the public. So they're looking over everything with a fine-tooth comb. Bank statements, they're looking over debt. Do we have any new debt? Have we paid off any debt? Our capital items, how many capital items have we purchased throughout the year, as well as disposed of, sold, or surplused. And they continue going over payroll. As far as our liability, how much sick time and vacation time do our employees have built up? That goes into our financial liability. It's just every single aspect of the finance department is gone over with a fine-tooth comb. And so they go through everything. And then our auditors also prepare our financial statements for us based on their findings in the audit. And then they will present to council. Well, they have to file our audit with the LGC, the Local Government Commission, to make sure that they sign off on everything. And once the LGC kind of stamps their approval on the audit, then it'll be presented to council, and that will be our final audit that's published every year.
Very cool. So if you're just joining in live with us on Facebook, this is our meetings in the park. It's kind of a substitute for our monthly meetings in the park. And this is your opportunity to ask questions of myself, any of the department heads that are here, or if you ask a question that maybe doesn't pertain to one of us, we'll try our best to get an answer for you or message you back. But this is your time to drop in a comment below. Anything that you've got. Chief Engel really likes when we drop comments about trucks going up and down Main Street and that kind of thing. So if you got any kind of questions, now's your time. I give Chief Engel a hard time. We have, for those that are watching live, that has been a kind of an Achilles heel, arch nemesis of ours. We've been working really hard with the state. Chief and his team have been doing some enforcement there. They're doing 20, 30 trucks a week on pulling those over, and just trying to find creative ways through signage, working with the GPS companies to see how we can get that reduced. But it has been really Achilles heel for the chief on that. So you kind of see him smirk a little bit. I know they're trying their best. We just don't have a magic answer for that right now. But yeah, this is your time to drop any kind of comments in below. This is a great new platform for us to really engage. And so we'd love for anybody that's out there watching to drop us something, and we'll be glad to work through that. In the interim, Magnolia, I know the Redevelopment Commission, which has they're obviously still a new commission. We can still call them new. Has been working pretty hard. They had a meeting this week to begin looking at the redevelopment zone, some redevelopment plans. You want to just kind of talk through, for maybe somebody that hasn't heard, what the Redevelopment Commission is up to and where the redevelopment zone is going to be. Just kind of give us an update of what they were up to this week.
Yeah, absolutely. So we created the Redevelopment Commission back in, I think, October of last year, and finally got members appointed. And so we've been consistently meeting about once a month since, I think, February of this year, and really just starting to have conversations with the community about how we can invest back into neighborhoods and build them up. So maybe there's some neighborhoods that need a little better infrastructure, or they want to see something happen in their neighborhood that's good. So we've met with two different neighborhoods, one along like North Meridian Street and Benton Lane, and then another one over near like Second Street Park. And so both of those communities were super excited about just us wanting to kind of invest in those neighborhoods. So we've kind of designated both of those neighborhoods as the redevelopment area. And so it starts kind of in like oh gosh, I cannot describe map features without looking at a map, but kind of going from the New Hope community across 3rd Street and connecting into the Fairview community. So it involves 236 properties, and it equates about to 0.21 square miles of land. But we're all really excited. Hopefully we'll get some funding so we can start taking an inventory about what's in that area and start thinking of a plan on how we can kind of invest in infrastructure, build sidewalks, put in new sewer lines, start creating more community gathering spaces and beautifying the area. So everybody is really excited. The redevelopment commission's excited. So, and the communities are as well. So
That's really, yeah, it's going to be a fun project. I was able to attend a couple of those community meetings, and just to kind of hear the thoughts from the neighborhoods around ways to make some improvements there, things that we can do as a town, things that we can begin to facilitate as conversations and partnerships with other agencies, and really excited to kind of see that work transition some of our neighborhoods over the next few years to kind of really invest back into the community where, we already have a lot of great opportunity there. We've got people living there. We've got, infrastructure there. And how can we kind of make sure that we're investing right here at home in some areas too? So that's going to be a fun commission to kind of watch their work come to life. Hey, look at that. Hey, Shannon. Good afternoon to you too, Shannon. And she can speak to this because I actually wanted to kind of give an update. Last night was our first in a series of our Citizens Academy. Our Citizens Academy met last night, and Shannon is actually one of the participants of the Citizens Academy. We had what I felt like, from my standpoint, a pretty good introduction and an overview of local government. We met last night from 6 to 8, and it's the first of a 7-week course where participants get to meet with each one of our departments for 2 hours every Thursday through the month of September and October, and then they graduate at a town council meeting in November. I was telling the group that class has really kind of transitioned into one of my favorite times of the year to watch our staff have an opportunity to engage, for our citizens to participate, and for us to kind of collaborate together. So if you're interested in the Citizens Academy, obviously this year's class is rolling and up and going, but we do this every year in September and October. Let one of us know and we'll get you on the waiting list for next year. But Shannon, if there's anything you want to drop from your experience last night, I know it was just the first class, but drop us a comment on that. Good to see you this morning. But our Citizens Academy is a great opportunity for you to engage with us. And I was telling the class last night, it's also an opportunity for us to learn from our citizens. A lot of things that people can maybe perceive is that the town is out here, doing things on their own, or just, doing stuff without citizen input. And that's far from the truth. I mean, our goal and everything that we do is to engage the citizens to understand a better way to move forward. I was talking to the class last night about our action plan process, and that action plan starts with community surveys. It goes through a process that is kind of community vetted, and then the town council sets a set of goals and initiatives that really start with your creative ideas and innovation, and it kind of gives us as a town a framework to move forward. And the same thing with a lot of other things we do, like the redevelopment commission. They're formulating a plan for specific neighborhoods based on feedback that they're getting from those neighborhoods. And so I was just telling them how exciting it is to kind of see what we're doing through the Citizens Academy. It ends up, I was going through some alumni names of other classes. This is our 3rd year of doing it. And it's just amazing to kind of see the folks that come through that Citizens Academy that then are so engaged and want to give back to the community because of the way they see that we operate. And we've got various members on our Historic Preservation Commission, our Planning Board, RTR, our Downtown Revitalization And so it's just a great way to get involved. So if you're interested, let us know, and we'll be glad to get you signed up. Awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Shannon. Next Thursday is Chief Engel with the police department. Chief, you want to kind of give maybe Shannon a little bit of information about what she can expect next week? Are you guys going to do like a real live police chase or something like that?
I wish. But no, I believe that our class has always been ranked the number one class out of all of them. Yes. Y'all can shake your heads no, but I'm pretty sure when
I'll go back and look at the exit surveys. I'll look at the exit surveys.
Yeah, it's always us. But no, we have all the equipment this year. Burning, whatever, fire, whatever. But you'll see a lot of our equipment. You'll get to meet our road patrol division, our investigations division, and they'll both explain to you what they do and how they utilize these tools to help keep Ruffton safer. Sorry, I was being distracted by the.
If you guys can't tell, and I know a lot of you watch this live, but there's a brotherhood rivalry. Which one was born first? Which one started with the town? They've both been with the town 15, 16 years. So you got this little brotherhood rivalry between our police and fire department. The neat thing though is they work so well together. But there is that little bit of rivalry there. So you can even drop a comment. Which one, police or fire? Back the blue or back the red, or maybe you're purple, mixer of both.
But yeah, we have some exciting things for next Thursday. I believe we're going to actually show 2 new things that no one else has seen yet. So make sure you're there Thursday, Shannon, and you'll be one of the first to see some of the new tools and new products that we will be bringing out to the community here in 2021, if not 2022.
Awesome.
Brendan, you can talk about your little class you'll have with them now.
Now, Brandon, they actually, in your class, they actually get to suit up in fire gear and, that kind of stuff too, right? Like they actually get to put out a fire.
Yeah, we'll see what we can work on that.
Yeah. No, didn't you guys a couple years ago do your extinguisher, your extinguisher prop?
Yeah, we've got an extinguisher prop now, and see, last year the way it went, we ended up only having one, so we didn't get to do a lot. So yeah, this year we definitely got a fire extinguisher prop we can utilize and have some other things in mind. So
I think y'all should set the bar really high and bring out the forcible entry door.
Ooh,
there you go.
There you go.
We've got all kind of toys, and we can play around with, and we'll try to pick a couple of the best and go that route.
Good deal. Before you go back to mute, October is a big month for you guys. Can you kind of give us some ideas of what you're planning for October, some of the ways that you're going to try and reach out to the community for the month?
Yes. So October is Fire Prevention Month, and we do try our best to get fire prevention message out. Last year definitely changed the way we do it, and this year's looking to be about the same. So we had to come up with creative ways last year to get some fire prevention material out and the message out. So I know Wendy, who's our division chief over fire prevention, she's worked on some new ideas. And if you go to some local restaurants, you may have some fire prevention material in your to-go bag. So that's something new that's being worked on. And there's some other ideas coming out. We're working with the schools currently to see what's our best route to get either in the classroom for one-on-one type discussion, or Clint's got a little fire in his office over there. I might have to go visit him.
Yeah,
if I can help extinguish that. But yeah, so we've got some new ideas. We've made some videos in the past. That may be another route we have to take this year. So, but we're definitely working towards it, and we'll get that message out.
Awesome. Sonia, what's going on with all of the teal ribbons out on Main Street? Do you know anything about that? Is that something the town paid for?
Interesting you ask. We have received quite a few phone calls and a couple of emails from some of our Main Street business owners or employees, and they were like, what's the deal with all the teal ribbons in town? So that's the Turn the Town Teal campaign to raise awareness for ovarian cancer. That is normally recognized during the month of September. And our local attorney here and our town attorney, Beth Miller, and a group of her friends decided to turn Rutherfordton teal, so to raise awareness. So you'll see the teal ribbons are around a lot of the power poles, and we've got some here at Town Hall, over at the library. So if you're wondering what that's for, that's what it is for. But you can also look on their website, Turn the Town Teal, and it just gives you symptoms and things that you should look for to help raise awareness about ovarian cancer and the signs and symptoms of that. So I encourage all of our viewers to take a look at that, and we appreciate Beth for turning our town teal.
Yeah, I know Beth's really kind of powered through that cancer and kind of come out on the other end, well, but it was a struggle for her. And she'll be the first to tell you, I mean, she really didn't know anything about it until, she was diagnosed. But and in our Beautiful Mornings last week, we had Allison from Blue Ridge Hope on, and, she was reminding us that it's not just ovarian cancer, it's all of the, cancers for gynecological cancer month, right? Yeah. I wanted to get it right there. But, it's important to make sure that you're being honest and open with your doctor, because some of the symptoms that you would normally see for a cancer like that are symptoms that you would easily pass off. Maybe lower back pain, maybe a little bit of abdomen pain. You think, just maybe I pulled it picking something up or whatever. But being open and honest with your doctor, because that little bit of prevention on the front end goes a long way on the back end. And so definitely want to educate everybody around that, because like Beth will say, I mean, she doesn't want anybody else to have to go through something that should be so much easily preventable in the future. So definitely look to that. If you're interested, if you come here to Town Hall or over at Norris Library, we've got some pamphlets around Turn the Town Teal. It's got some signs and symptoms. We've got some little cards that have kind of the same thing. We'll be glad to provide you some information. Obviously, your best resource is always your family doctor and your primary care physician, and being open and honest with them about, some of the things you're seeing and feeling.
Doug, I had one more thing I just wanted to mention, kind of while we're on a forum here with the public, is just a reminder that our town facilities are not being rented out right now, just due to the rise in COVID cases and the spread within our communities. Town council at the last council meeting just took a stance on that. And, of course, we decided to cancel Hilltop Festival and some larger events, but they also chose to not rent out any of our town facilities. So we are getting a lot of phone calls about that, folks saying they're going online to make a reservation either at the Rutherfordton Clubhouse or Crestview Park or any of the facilities that we typically rent out. And just as a reminder, those are not being rented out right now. So there's nothing wrong with the website. It's not user error. It is just that we've blocked all of those rentals since the council decided not to do that. So that's why the website appears to be not working to some folks. But the town council will readdress that every month at the town council meeting. And for those of you who are not aware, that's the first Wednesday of every month. So at what point they decide to loosen those restrictions, we'll be sure to publish that information on our Facebook page and our other social media outlets. So just keep an eye on that. And then we'll get those rentals opened back up once COVID kind of calms down a little bit here in the county.
Yeah, and I want to speak a little bit about that too. I mean, it is critically important around, working through how do we manage through this pandemic. We are still actively in a pandemic here. We had a conference call yesterday with many community partners, both on the local government side, the public safety side, and on the healthcare side. And folks, I can tell you that the news in our community is not good. until we reach a point where more folks are being able to open-mindedly think about the ramifications of a vaccine for themselves and their family, this will be something that we'll be unfortunately fighting for some time now. The number of deaths in our community is still in the mid-teens each week, directly related to COVID. Matter of fact, you saw in the newspaper this past week, there were 14 deaths associated with COVID. Starting on Monday, the Rutherford County Health Department will reopen their testing center, and we'll post some information in the comments below. I believe they're doing that, I want to say from 9 o'clock through the day, but we'll post the graphic in the comments below from the health department. Magnolia, if you're looking for that, go to Rutherford County Community Health Council, and Jill has shared the information graphic on the testing on the Rutherford County Health Council. I would encourage you to look at the Rutherford County Health Council. When we drop those, we can drop a tag on the Rutherford County Health Council so you can look them up on Facebook. They're sharing a great deal of information. The Health Council is a representation of many different health providers and healthcare agencies in our community. Many of you know Jill Miracle from RHI Legacy. She's the staff liaison for that council, and she's been sharing a great deal of information on Facebook. Also, Rutherford Regional Health System has been sharing a lot of their data around what they're seeing in the hospital, and talked to them yesterday, and there's still an exorbitant number of people that are in ICU or admitted in the hospital, and all of them unvaccinated. And I know we're not allowed to share a lot of stories there, but just hearing some of the heartbreaking patient stories around people that are getting ready to be incubated to go on a ventilator, wishing that they could get a vaccine, or could I get a vaccine now? And unfortunately, obviously, it's way too late for that style of treatment when they're looking to incubate you and put you on a ventilator. So I encourage you to think through vaccination with an open mind. I know there's been so much talk back and forth around, what that means, but at the end of the day, your primary care physician and your family are the ones that are going to give you the information that you need to move that forward. The more that we can educate around the use of the vaccine to help with the lack of the spread of the virus is going to be critical. The Delta variant is not the same COVID that we were battling, 15, 16 months ago when we started. This is a totally different variant. This is people that are healthy with no underlying conditions, all the way down into their teens battling a disease. Matter of fact, we've seen entire families unfortunately have to pay the ultimate sacrifice because of the Delta variant. So definitely encourage you to do that. Encourage you to get vaccinated. Again, think through that with an open mind. Look at the medical data there and around what that means to be vaccinated. So, and I don't want to, call it. I don't know. I didn't say anything to the folks on the call here, but I can tell you that that all of us that are represented on this call here today have been vaccinated. We stand as a way to protect ourselves, protect our families, and protect you as a community. And I've said on my personal social media accounts, if any of you have questions around the vaccination process, I would be glad to personally talk to you about what that meant for me and my experience. So anyway, I hate to digress there, but in an opportunity when we are still seeing, unfortunately, so much death and so much taxing on our healthcare system, like I said, the health department's going to be starting their testing back up, and that's a direct result of the impact of COVID on our health providers. When the hospital is full, that trickles down to our primary care physicians. Our primary care physicians are basically in a triage setting right now, where if you're calling in for a sick call, let's say maybe you have some strep throat symptoms, they're so backlogged dealing with COVID symptom patients that you are waiting, a longer period of time. It's a true triage situation that they're in. So definitely encourage you that COVID is real. It's really hitting our community, and it's definitely hitting our healthcare providers. So think through that and see what you can do to be a shot hero.
And Doug, maybe we can share some information about the booster shots for the people who did get vaccinated right whenever the vaccines came out too.
Yeah, so that was one of the things we did talk about yesterday. We are actively planning a booster shot clinic. Matter of fact, I talked with the hospital about maybe trying to partner up with them. There's an opportunity for us to bring back the FEMA bus. If anybody was over at Forest City for their Fit Fest, FEMA was there. They bring in a whole team of vaccinations. They have each one of the vaccinations available on the bus. So if medically you feel like the Pfizer is better for you than the Johnson & Johnson or vice versa, they have all of those available on the bus. So we're going to be looking at bringing those in. The booster shots will be available for the community very soon. And the hospital is working through beginning some new treatment processes too, as early as next week. So those were some of the conversations. We don't have any firm dates yet, but we are working to bring that to the community. Well, again, I hope you, typically for those, again, that are just joining in, this is typically our meetings in the park time. It's a time for us to meet over at Kiwanis Park and to kind of meet you at your level and just have, intimate conversations around ideas, innovations, questions you have, or each one of our department heads. Typically, Mayor Dancy is there. He's tied up today on some other Zooms. We're using this new platform here. See a lot of engagement on Facebook back and forth and our viewers there. If you've got questions of us, throw those in the chat. We'll be glad to talk to you, but hopefully you have enjoyed this experience. Typically we last somewhere between 30 and 45 minutes over at Kiwanis Park, kind of going through meetings in the park on a monthly basis. Just felt like this was more appropriate today to continue that dialogue. So we'll kind of hang in here for a minute unless Chief Engel wants to show us one of those things that we're talking about. Yeah, Sonia, jump in on the swag.
So as most of you have seen, I'm sure in the past, we've always had the Rutherfordton mural shirts available. Doug has one on, and we're restocked on this. So we have those, and then we have
red is such a nice color too.
Oh, here we go with the fire department and police thing again. So then we also have the design that I'm wearing. It's the minted original, and then it has the little R logo on the sleeve there. So we have those.
Sonia, do you want to talk about what the backstory behind the minted original? Because some people may not know.
Yeah, because the
Feel
color
free.
of go ahead.
Go ahead, Magnolia.
Oh, God. I guess I will. So for those of you who don't know, and honestly, I didn't know until I moved here, but Rutherfordton is the site of the Beckler Mint. So back in I'm going to butcher the history of this, so someone please jump in. But Christopher Beckler.
1832.
How did you just know that? Okay, so Christopher Beckler in 1832 created the first U.S. gold mint. Coin. Thank you.
Therefore, the minted
original. And the shirt color is mint.
No, the shirt is gray.
The mint color.
The word
is mint.
mint is mint.
Yeah.
It's a cool shirt.
Yeah, Chief Harold's laughing so hard he had to turn his camera off.
Right. So we also got another new design, and this is the 28139. And these are super soft too. That's the short sleeve option. And then we have a long sleeve option in the same thing.
And it's almost long sleeve weather time.
It is. And this is RS Central colors. So that would be great to wear to football games this fall. And then kind of a crowd favorite, the I Love Ruffton. We have those in a few colors. This is kind of a sky blue or Carolina blue maybe. We have them in black, and then we've got this new kind of teal color. Looks blue on there, but it's like a turquoise. So all of our short sleeve shirts are $15, and we also have some hoodies with the mural logo like Doug has on his shirt. They are gray hoodies with that, and those are $25. So again, football season coming up. And then we've got new stickers, we've got magnets. Magnolia has some Ruffton Roots hats that are for sale here at Town Hall. We've just got all kinds of new things in. So stop by when you can.
And-
Town Hall's open 8 to 5, and stop by and take a look and do some early Christmas shopping.
And not to keep, the whole fire department thing, but we do have a couple of extra shirts up here in different sizes and colors for the fire department as well. And the money for those goes towards the fire truck fundraiser to, I hear you, Clint, to refurbish the 1924 American LaFrance.
Sorry,
First
we don't
fire-
have the first police car.
That'd have been a horse, right?
No,
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of first police cars and horses, going back that far, want to take a minute to congratulate Randy Greenway. Randy was former chief of police here in Rutherfordton for a number of years. He retired from the town and took a job with the SBI and DEA, and I think multiple different state and federal agencies, mainly the SBI, and he has officially retired. So Randy, thank you for your years of law enforcement, for your leadership of the town. I know there's a lot of people in the community that know Randy, and just wanted to tell him congratulations on a job well done in a long-standing career in law enforcement. So congrats, Randy, on your retirement this week. Chief, anything? Well, Chief, were you here when Randy was still working, or he had already transitioned to SBI when you came on board?
He had just transitioned maybe a month before.
Yeah. But he's actually looking at coming on your reserves now, right?
Yes, he has talked about it, but he hasn't come by to start the paperwork yet. So
I'll tell you,
maybe a couple of days of retirement, he'll change his mind.
That's right. Former Chief Lovelace, who was the chief after Chief Greenway and prior to Chief Engel, he's on our reserves. And we were joking with Chief Greenway about how funny it would be to have Chief Lovelace and Chief Greenway, riding doubles, on the reserves. So a lot of experience there. Great to have them both in our community and both active in the department. But again, congrats, Randy, on your retirement. All right, everybody. Well, again, thank you for joining in with us. Hopefully next month we will be back in Kiwanis Park, but I can tell you that based on the slow uptick of vaccination, the massive amounts of community spread and the taxing on our health system, that it's not looking so good right now. And we're really relying on you as the community to think through that. I've said this a lot of times, I just encourage everybody to think through vaccination with an open mind, to uncloud it from the political debates, from the misinformation that's out there on Facebook, and to really think through it with an open mind and use sources that are going on there. We are, like Sonia said, a lot of our facilities are closed. We are not renting those. We are trying to be a little bit more proactive through virtual meetings. And so you will see a lot more of us through this way and through our new YouTube channel. And matter of fact, our next town council meeting, which is scheduled for October the 6th, will be a virtual meeting. And so we're looking at some different platforms there for increased audio and some video opportunities. So it will be a little bit better produced platform, but we will be virtual for our town council meeting in October. So again, we thank everybody for joining us live. We hope everybody has a wonderful weekend, and I'm going to let everybody else say goodbye.